Hi dear students, welcome to this session. I am your Bala sir. In this video session we are going to discuss about JEE Main 2020 Physics question paper, and this question is CBT based, that is computer based test. Okay. Actually I will discuss today 5 problems, and this will be very useful for those who are studying plus 2 right now and those who are studying plus 1. So, both 11th and 12th students, you just watch the video continuously, so you will gain some ideas, because you are going to write very soon. I mean in 2021 you are going to appear for JEE Main. So, you just watch the video and tell me your comments. Thank you. So, the first question is, a rod is heated from 0 degree Celsius to 10 degree Celsius. Its length is increased by 0.02%. By what percent change in mass density? This is the first question here. So, the change in temperature is from 0 degree Celsius to 10 degree Celsius. If you convert this into Kelvin, both will be the same. So, delta T is simply, you can write 10. Does not matter it is Kelvin or Celsius. And change in length is also given, that is delta L is 0.02%. So, what is the concept here? When heat is given, its length increases. So, it is called a linear expansion of the rod. We know very well the change in length is directly proportional to the original length and directly proportional to the change in temperature. So, delta L is equal to some constant, this constant is alpha into delta T, where alpha is coefficient of linear expansion, temperature coefficient of linear expansion. Therefore, first of all let me find out alpha. This alpha is equal to delta L divided by L delta T. Here the delta L percentage change, delta L by L is given here, and it is 0.02%, right? Delta L by L percentage is 0.02%. So, 0.02 divided by 100 into delta T is 10. So, your answer will be 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 divided by 10 to the power of 3, or you can write 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 per degree Celsius or per Kelvin. This is what your alpha. Then the relation between alpha and gamma, where gamma is expansion for coefficient of volume expansion. So, gamma is equal to 3 times alpha, you might have seen in the theory. So, this is volume expansion, coefficient of volume expansion is equal to 3 times of linear expansion. Okay. So, gamma value can be now 3 into what is our alpha? Alpha is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5, which will be equal to 6 into 10 to the power of minus 5 per degree Celsius or per Kelvin. Right. Now, we have to find out the change in the mass density. You know very well, density is nothing but mass per volume, right? Density equal to mass by volume. So, mass does not change during the heating process. So, only change will take place volume and density. So, when volume increases, density decreases. Normally on heating the volume will increase. Therefore, how much percentage the density is going to be decreased? That is what our discussion here. Now, what is delta V? Delta V is equal to gamma into V into delta T. Therefore, this delta V by V, this volume expansion percentage, first of all we have to find out. So, it is equal to gamma into delta T. If you want to express in percentage, delta V by V, that is percentage of expansion in volume, that is equal to gamma 6 into 10 to the power of minus 5 into change in temperature 10, right, into percentage, it is 100. So, 6 into 10 to the power of minus 5 into 10 cube, that is equal to 6 into 10 to the power of minus 2, which will be equal to 0.06%. So this is the volume expansion in percentage is 0.06%. So when volume increases by this much percentage 0.06%, then density will decrease to 0.06%. So the options are 0.02, 0.04, 0.06, 0.08. So third option will be the correct answer. So when the volume increases to 0.06%, the density will decrease to 0.06%. So third option will be the answer for this question. Now let me go to the second question. So if you want to see the question paper, you just go through this JEE Main 2020 CBT, right? Taken place in September. Okay. The second question, one lap is given like this. Okay. So I will draw first. This is axis. This one is x axis, y axis, z axis. The lap is given like this. So you have lap like this. So this is lap we have given, and this axis is like this. Oh, this is what your lap. So in this lap, the name is given A, B, C, D, E, F. This is the lap. The bottom, the current flows like this. This is the current flow, and here the current flow like this. Okay. So the side is A, this side is A, and this side is B. Am I right? As well as this side is A, and this side is B. Okay. Now we have to find out the magnetic moment of the lap. So this is x axis, y axis, z axis. You have to draw the Cartesian coordinate system. This is x axis, and this one is y axis, and this one is z axis. Here I cap, here j cap, here k cap. What is the magnetic moment? How to find out magnetic moment? You know very well, magnetic moment vector is equal to I into A vector, current into area vector. Here the current flows like this. This is the value of current I. Yes. Now you have two areas. One area is here and another area is here. Let me first find out this magnetic moment for the area ABCD. For this area ABCD, the magnetic moment. First let me find out the area. You know very well what is I. So there is no change in I. Area is just length into breadth. So IAB. Now we have to find out the direction of the area vector, right? Let me find out the direction now. You know very well, to find the area vector. Normally area vector means it is the perpendicular direction to the area. So either it will be perpendicular to this plane, so towards y or towards minus y. That is the question. But we have to see exactly in which direction the area vector will be. For that, I take the direction of the current. So you take Maxwell right hand. So this is the direction of the current, right? So if you take the direction of the current, right? So current comes here. So this is the direction of the current. So here this is the direction of the current. So if you see the direction of the current, right? So this is the direction of the thumb represent the direction of current. Here thumb represent direction of the current. Here thumb represent the direction of the current. So when you keep the thumb towards my left hand side, the other finger show the downward direction. So the downward direction here is minus j cap. So that is the area vector. So therefore your answer will be into minus j cap. So this is what your magnetic moment for this area. And now come here for this area DEFA. The corresponding magnetic moment vector M2 is equal to I into A into B, no change in current. Now this area vector will be, so show this thumb upwards because current goes from D to E. So it is the direction of the current. But my other fingers will represent this negative x-axis. So the negative x-axis means here. So this unit vector is minus I cap. So the answer will be minus I cap here. So the total moment vector we have to find out. So one moment vector is this direction, and the another moment vector is this direction. This is m2 vector. So by the law of triangle you can use the resultant vector. It is m vector is equal to just adding the two magnetic moments, m1 vector plus m2 vector, which will be, so minus in both terms we have minus. So minus I into A into B into I cap plus J cap. So where you will get minus I cap minus J cap. So in this plane, so here you have minus I cap, here you have minus J cap. So this is the direction of this magnetic moment M, in which we have minus I cap minus J cap is lying in this plane. So this is the direction of the resultant magnetic moment. So your answer will be IAB into minus I cap minus J cap is the resultant magnetic moment for this current flowing lab. So this is the solution for the second problem. Next I will go to third problem. In this the problem says, if area A time t and momentum p, area A time t and momentum p, okay. So these three physical quantities are assumed as fundamental quantities. These three quantities are assumed to be fundamental quantities. Then the dimensional formula of energy, okay. So we have to find out the dimensional formula for energy in terms of area, time and momentum. That is my question. So here you know very well energy is directly proportional. How to relate these physical quantities with energy. So this is area power x, time power y and momentum power z. So this is the expression we are going to write. So area power x and time power y and momentum power z. So write down the corresponding dimensional formula. What is the dimensional formula for energy? It is ml square t to the power of minus 2, okay, and that is equal to, constant has no dimension. So area is just L square. So m0 L square t0 to the power of x into time. So m0 L0 t to the power of 1 power y, and momentum, it is mass into velocity ml t power minus 1. So m1 L1 t power minus 1 to the power of z. So now inside multiplication, so you will get L power 2x, here you have time power y, and here you have m power z, L power z and t power minus z. Am I right? So then rearranging this expression, so m power, there is no m here, so you will get only m power z, and L power, here L power 2x, here L power 0, here L power z. So L power 2x plus z, and time power here y, here minus z. So here m power 1 L square t power minus 2. So now equate the powers of m, L and t, okay. So z equal to 1, okay. Then 2x plus z, that is equal to 2 here. So 2x plus 1 is equal to 2. So 2x is equal to 2 minus 1, 1. Therefore x is equal to 1 by 2. Then I come here, y minus z is equal to minus 2. So y minus 1 is equal to minus 2. Therefore y is equal to minus 2 plus 1, which will give you minus 1. So these are your values. X is equal to half, y is equal to minus 1 and z equal to 1. So put them back here. So energy is equal to area power x, the x is a power half, and time power y, it is time power minus 1, and momentum power z, it is momentum power 1. So your options are like this: a power half, t power minus 1, and p power 1, right? So you will get the result like this. So this is a way to find out the expression for energy in terms of area, time, and momentum. So this is the solution for this problem. And now we are going to see the fourth problem. So the fourth problem is, what is the fourth problem? It is coming from the electromagnetic waves. Electric field and magnetic field of an electromagnetic wave oscillate along the direction having unit vectors. Unit vectors. Electric field unit vector is given. Magnetic field unit vectors is given. Electric field unit vector is k cap, and magnetic field unit vector is I minus j cap. Am I right? So both vectors are given. Now the question is, find unit vector along the direction of the propagation. Okay, you know very well, right? Both electric vector and magnetic vector is always perpendicular to each other, and its propagation, the wave propagation, will be perpendicular to these both vectors. If you take the normal, right, if you take the unit vector for this and this, that will give you the direction of the propagation, which will be parallel to the direction of the propagation. If you take the unit vector for this cross product of the two vectors, the cross product of the two vectors will give you another vector, and that vector will be the direction of the propagation of electromagnetic wave, which will be equal to the unit vector of this cross product of the two vectors. So what I am saying, this cross product of the two vector, E vector cross B vector, will be parallel to another vector C vector, and this will be its unit vector. It is E vector cross B vector divided by modulus of E vector cross B vector. Often we call it as n cap, right? That is the direction of the propagation of electromagnetic wave. So therefore you first to find out the E vector cross B vector, which will be equal to determinant ijk, component of E vector only k cap. So 0 0 1, for B vector is 1 minus 1 0. So if you take this expansion through first row, you will get 0 minus into minus plus 1, then minus j into 0 and minus 1, then for k you will get 0. Am I right? This 0, this also 0. So you will get I cap minus into minus plus j cap. So I cap plus j cap is your result. One minus 1. So this will be I, and minus j, for minus j 0, 1 into 1 minus 1. So minus into minus plus. So you will get I plus j. If you take the modulus of this vector, E vector cross B vector, and that will be equal to square root of 1 plus 1, which will be equal to root of 2. So the answer is 1 by root 2 I cap plus j cap. So this is the direction of the propagation of the magnetic wave, electromagnetic wave. Okay. Yes. Then we will discuss the fifth problem. With this, the first part is over. Yes, I will discuss what is the fifth problem. This problem is from the electrostatics topic. So what they have given here, charge q is distributed of two concentric spheres of radius r and capital R. Okay. So here we have a concentric circles of two radius, one is small r, this radius, and this radius is capital R. Charge distribution q is given, right? If charge density of both spheres is same, so charge density here sigma, here also sigma. So they are having equal charge densities. Now we have to find out the electric potential at the center. What is the, so at this point O, what is the electric potential at this center? That is the question here. Yes, the charge distributions, we know very well the charge distribution on the spherical surface is equal to charge density into area. Let me, so the total charge given to the spheres q1 plus q2, let me first find out what is q1. q1 is equal to sigma a1, for the bigger one is sigma 4 pi into capital R square is the total surface area, and what is q2? q2 is sigma a2, which will be equal to sigma into 4 pi into small r square. This is what your q. Therefore, the total charge distribution to the system is sigma into 4 pi into capital R square plus a small r square. This is what your total charge. Now this is now the sigma is charge density sigma is equal to q divided by 4 pi into r square plus r square. This is what your sigma charge density. Now we have to find out potential at the center. Potential at a point O is due to the two charges. One is kq1 by r plus kq2 divided by small r. That right? Okay. Now you can write it as k. What is your q1? q1 is sigma 4 pi into r square by r plus k q2. q2 is sigma 4 pi r square by r, right? Okay. So you can write it as 1 r cancel, this also cancel. So k sigma 4 pi into capital R plus k sigma 4 pi into small r. So the common term is taken out. K sigma 4 pi is taken out into r plus r. This is what your potential, and you can substitute the sigma here. So k into your sigma value is q divided by 4 pi into r square plus r square into 4 pi into capital R plus small r. Now 4 pi is cancelled. So therefore the result is kq into r plus r is divided by r square plus r square. You know very well about the constant also. So the answer is kq into r plus r divided by r square plus r square is the answer. That is the potential at a point at the center of the two concentric circles. So with this we end the first part. Let us see the remaining questions in the second part. Keep watching. Thank you.